Flatland, A Romance of Many Dimensions by Edwin A. Abbott. So this is episode 33 of a series I'm doing called The Masterpieces of Science Fiction. And this book has two special places in this series. I believe this is the oldest book on the list. It was published in 1884. And it's the shortest book on the list, clocking in at only 82 pages. And Edwin A. Abbott, he was a schoolmaster in London when he wrote this, and he didn't teach math, but he obviously knew quite a bit about math and geometry, and I guess decided for some reason to write this very unique book. And this really isn't a novel, it's not really nonfiction, it kind of doesn't really fit into many categories, but let's just go ahead and get into the plot, if you want to call it that. So apparently originally when he wrote this, he didn't want people to know, and he put it under a pseudonym of A. Square. So A Square. And that's also the name of the main character in this book. And he is just a two-dimensional square. And in Flatland, I'll show you a picture here that he drew in the front. You have Flatland, and then off in the corners here, you can see the different worlds or dimensions. So you have point land, that's just a point, and it has no dimensions. You have line land, which is a line, and it has one dimension. You have flat land, where most of this book takes place, and that's just in a two-dimensional flat space. And then you have spaceland, which is a three-dimensional space that adds a z-axis and lets you go up. And so our character, A Square, he's a square, and he's just kind of describing Flatland in the beginning of this book and how their society works. Women are just lines, and men are either triangles and then more sides. So the triangle is the most basic male, and as they progress, they get more sides, and as they progress, like through children, just clarify that. And their ultimate goal is to get to the point where they look like a circle. If you have enough sides where you look like a circle, now you're kind of like a priest in this society. And he goes into details about their houses, how they can differentiate one another based on the vertices that are on these shapes and the depth when you're looking. There's like a depth of field, and there's some mist, which will give you that depth of field. Because you can imagine if everything's in this flat 2D space, when you look at a shape, all you're going to see is a line. But you can see different parts of the line to give you different aspects of the shape. And he draws diagrams throughout the book kind of explaining this. It's pretty interesting. So that's kind of the beginning of the book, just describing Flatland. And then he gets a visitor through like a dream from Line Land. And this society is just in one dimension, and everything's spread out across a line. The leader's in the middle, and then as you get lower and lower classes, you fan out on either side. And he's having a conversation with someone here and trying to describe to them what a 2D space is like. And he does it in a very unique way when he goes into the points and the sides in geometric shapes and uses that to explain how the dimensions change. And it's a very unique concept and idea. It's so easy and basic, but for someone that's always lived in 3D space, he just never really thought about it. So it's pretty cool. And then towards the end of the book, he gets a visit from someone from Spaceland, and this is a sphere. And he comes down and tries to explain to our square what it's like being in a three-dimensional space. And this gets into a little bit of a spoiler territory. I mean, it's an 80-page book. I'll spoil a little bit of it here. If you don't want to be spoiled, just go read it, come back in an hour and watch the video. But he manages to kind of use the same geometric concepts of points and sides and lines to describe to our square what it would be like to be in three-dimensional space. And so our square, he believes it now. He understands the concept. And you almost get like this allegory of the cave moment where he comes back to a society and he's trying to describe to everybody else in Flatland what this space land and what 3 dimensions would be like. They all think he's a nut job and they put him in jail, basically. There's more that goes on in the book besides that, but not much more. It's only 80 pages. It's a pretty quick read. Very enjoyable, very influential. If you go in and look up some of all of the different things this has kind of influenced, you'll see tons and tons of modern work, old work. It was just way ahead of its time. It's getting close to being 150 years old, and it's just such a unique idea and concept, and the way Edwin Abbott wrote it and then described these concepts is just really cool. So if you get a chance to see this book in the wild and pick it up for a good price, get it, read it. It doesn't take long to read it, and it's definitely worthwhile. So I'm catching up on videos a little bit. I have finished Campus by James Gunn, and this was great. Way better than I thought it was going to be. Look for a video review of this one coming out soon when I catch up with some of my videos. And then what I'm reading now is Werner Vinge, Deepness in the Sky, and I just started this today. I'm on chapter 4. Really enjoying that. And I'm trying to read that because there's a couple of us. There's Matt at Science Fiction Reads and Bart at Bart's Book Space, who they've read the first 2 books. So I'm catching up with the second book here. And then we're all going to maybe read Children of the Sky, which is the 3rd book in the series. I don't know if we'll do any kind of videos or anything, but it's just something to do, and we can all watch each other's videos and see what everybody thought about it. But I also welcome all the viewers. If you've read some of these Zones of Thought books, and maybe you haven't got to the last book, or maybe you want to catch up on Fire Upon the Deep or Deepness in the Sky, there'll be video reviews of that coming out soon, and what I mentioned about everybody else reading Children of the Sky. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.